This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. Well, the government in the Bahamas says the death toll from Hurricane Dorian has risen by 1 to 44. But that actual death toll is sure to rise in the days ahead. Our Dale Hurd has the story.
There are at least 3 abandoned bodies in this devastated neighborhood called the Mud in Marsh Harbor, a week after Hurricane Dorian tore through the Abacos. Genoese Arnold says he knows them. They were his neighbors, but no one has come to remove the dead.
Still, more bodies. Like I see that one there, I see them 2 there, and I see next one, the mud again.
Arnold watched as one neighbor drowned.
You see where we come from? He was right there with us, right? He was a tree. I called him, come, and I won't give him hand. He said if foot can't touch the water, he gets scared.
Officials have warned that the number of deaths could rise dramatically as security forces and other teams search the northern Bahamas.
The physical destruction is massive. It's encouraging, however, to see the way that some people, residents, are finding quick solutions to respond to the situation themselves, but they need support.
Dorian victim Charles Cornish described the experience as very frightening.
At one point in my house, it felt like Bigfoot was on the roof, trying to break in from through the roof. That's how, that's how fast it was. And then we end up losing one of our windows. So I had a cabinet which was nearby. We stenched that against the window along with a freezer. And we take on water all night from through the window and then part of the ceiling.
Many from Marsh Harbor were looking for any way to get out.
There are 2 ferries every day, okay?
I'm going to be sad to be leaving the island. This is home, and there's no place like home.
In Nassau, residents attended a memorial service Sunday to remember those who died.
And even in the face of a national tragedy, God still reigns.
At least 5 deaths have also been blamed on the storm in the southeastern United States and one in Puerto Rico. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thanks, Dale. CBN's Operation Blessing arrived in Marsh Harbor to help those still stranded. They went to several schools and local churches where they delivered solar lamps so people can see in the dark. They also set up solar-powered aquifers to provide clean drinking water.
Operation Blessing is going to be here the day after, and we're going to be installing some water purification system. We also have a small medical team that is going to be taking patients and first need of patients with some basic meds that we have. And we're going to be here with water, solar, and you guys. Keep us in prayer. Keep the people, our brothers and sisters of the Bahamas in your prayers.
Amen. We will indeed. Well, the team doctor was able to treat 43 patients there, with the most common issues being trauma and anxiety. Operation Blessing will remain in the Bahamas to help with relief efforts. OB also set up camp in Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, where Dorian made its mark. Tornadoes, wind damage, flooding, and beach erosion were reported across North and South Carolina as Dorian moved up the coast last week. Roofs were ripped off buildings and homes when Dorian made landfall on Hatteras Friday morning. Some streets and businesses are still closed to the public. Operation Blessing teams also met with local city officials and pastors to assess the need. Meanwhile, meteorologists are keeping a close eye on the Atlantic as hurricane season is not over yet. Tropical storm Umberto will be the next named storm and is projected to move over the Bahamas and Florida. All eyes will be on the new system to see if it becomes a threat with strong upper-level winds. Meteorologists say there's a 20% chance of that happening this week. Hurricane season typically ends around late October. The U.S. Coast Guard says they've made contact with 4 missing crew members of a cargo ship overturned near a Georgia port in St. Simon Sound. It was stranded after a fire on board the vessel. A dramatic rescue scene as the Coast Guard pulled 20 crew members to safety. However, at one point, it became too risky to go deeper inside the ship. Rescuers say they drilled a hole overnight through the ship's hull and that extractions are being planned to get the crew members out. Well, a few years ago, America witnessed a new low in politics with the confirmation hearings of Brett Kavanaugh. And though it may be hard to imagine, it could get even uglier for the next Supreme Court nominee. John Jessup brings us the story.
Lawmakers returned this week to a quiet Capitol Hill, a far cry from what it was just a year ago when the confirmation hearing of Justice Brett Kavanaugh devolved into what many observers called a circus.
Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to have this loudmouth removed.
This is getting into the twilight zone.
Carrie Severino co-authored Justice on Trial, a new book with insider accounts of key players from the White House to the Senate and the Supreme Court. She told CBN News Kavanaugh's confirmation was less about him and more about politicization of the court, a deep public divide, and a well-coordinated effort between special interests, PR teams, and the media.
So all of those went together to produce really the worst confirmation process we've seen in American history.
While President Trump called for a swift bipartisan vote, the hearings instead moved slowly, filled with sordid allegations of alcohol abuse, assault, and rape.
I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me.
I'm here today to tell the truth. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. Not in high school, not in college, not ever.
Severino says it was just as volatile behind the scenes, including one account just before the committee vote when tempers flared.
That room was full of dozens of people, senators, their staffers, and a fist fight nearly broke out. And one of the points of concern there was the frustration that they felt like senators weren't playing it straight and that there was interference by the staff that was inappropriate.
As Kavanaugh returns to his second term in October, fallout from his contentious hearing still remains. Republicans who supported him are locked in tough re-election bids, and some White House hopefuls say they're open to packing the court. Severino warns filling the next Supreme Court vacancy could actually be worse.
What concerns me is, of course, the next seat could be a liberal justice stepping down with Donald Trump making the replacement. And that, if you think Kennedy to Kavanaugh is a shift, you know, a liberal justice, Justice Ginsburg, for example, to a Trump nominee would be a night and day change on the court. And I think we could see the incentives built to have an even more outrageous nomination process.
John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
Let's pray not. Well, the Trump administration says peace talks between the U.S. and the Taliban are dead for now. That means the president's plan to bring home U.S. troops after 18 years of war is up in the air. In a Twitter post, the president said Taliban and Afghan leaders were to visit Camp David Sunday, but the plan was scrapped after the terrorist organization took responsibility for a recent bombing that claimed the life of a U.S. serviceman.
They tried to use terror to improve their negotiating position. We're looking for more than words on paper. We're looking for real, delivered commitment, and the Taliban demonstrated either that they weren't willing to or couldn't live up to the commitment.
And we'll have more on the latest in Washington this evening on Faith Nation. You can watch it right here on the CBN News Channel. Well, Pope Francis is in Mauritius to hold a special mass there. The special ceremony honors the Reverend Jacques Désir Laval, a 19th century French missionary who ministered to freed slaves. Francis urged Mauritians to follow in the footsteps of Laval and to bring the unemployed and marginalized youth into the working fold of society. During his visit, Francis also traveled to the capital to meet with government leaders. Coming up, what new warning is out by the CDC as doctors across the country are investigating hundreds of illnesses and deaths. And before we go to the break, here's a look at what's trending on CBNNews.com.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Here, we're committed to a heritage of rigorous scholarship dating back over 1,000 years.
And to a faith tradition dating back 1,000 more.
This is how we create a culture of inquiry where no topic is off limits.
And a culture of hope.
Anything's possible!
It's Christian leadership.
And it's changing the world for the better.
It's higher learning.
It's greater knowing.
It's what makes us whole.
It's what makes us Regent.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
The Centers for Disease Control and some state health agencies are calling on people to stop using e-cigarettes. This as doctors across the country are investigating hundreds of vaping-related illnesses and 5 deaths.
Stop vaping now until further information about what is causing lung damage and death can be understood.
The CDC is investigating 450 cases of serious lung illnesses in 33 states. Lung and chest x-rays show significant damage to the lungs of people who vaped nicotine or cannabis-related products. Many patients say they used products containing THC, the active chemical in marijuana, but some reported using both THC and nicotine. The American Vaping Association put out a statement saying these illnesses and deaths are being caused by THC containing street vapes, not store-bought nicotine products. Doctors are seeking to learn if the illnesses are caused by specific devices, outside products, or contaminants. CBN's health reporter Lori Johnson is with us now. Lori, this is really disturbing. I mean, people are dying, and now many of us don't know much about vaping, but you actually have it right there. Is that the actual e-cigarette?
This is actually it. And see, a lot of us of a certain age have no experience with this because this really came on the scene 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And even more recently than that. But if you've ever noticed the kids walking around and they've got something in their hand, it's usually something like this. Well, it's very easy to hide.
And you see these huge plumes of smoke, you know, and they're almost engulfed in it. You think that it would be... I know you actually tried it as a point of investigation.
Right. You'll see kids, you know, walking around and every once in a while putting up a fist sort of to their hand. That's what they're doing. They're vaping. And what the controversy is this is an e-cigarette. And the controversy is the liquid. Okay. Now, I bought this liquid at a certified vaping store.
Right.
But a lot of them are street vapes. You can get a lot of vapes, and basically this liquid, you put it in here, and this is what contains the stuff. Does it contain nicotine? Does it contain THC? What else is in here? We know that flavorings are in here. Sometimes we are told that the vitamin E acetate is in here. All these products are now under scrutiny. Some of them have already been approved by the FDA because, for example, flavorings. We know that flavorings are fine in candy and ice cream, but wait a second. These flavorings are now being inhaled as vapor. And so are they more dangerous than, for example, if they're in foods? But anyway, people are putting...
The chemicals that are in this, are they safe as opposed to the ones kids buy on the street?
That's a great question. And so that's what the CDC is looking at, all these ingredients. Even the stuff that you get at the vaping stores, it's very loosely regulated. There have been no long-term studies. And so that's why most health professionals are saying stop vaping altogether, especially children. We do know that some people do have success in stopping smoking. In fact, that's how these were branded and marketed at first, was to help you stop smoking. And there is an argument can be made that they're safer than regular cigarettes, but this isn't what we're seeing happening with the kids.
Wow.
These aren't kids who are trying to quit smoking regular cigarettes. These are kids who are taking up this habit, and they're saying it's quite addictive.
And why is there so much confusion about, what's causing these illnesses and even deaths, 5 deaths reported?
Because they really don't know. They just haven't been able to do very much research on what's happening. They do know at this point that they think it's the liquid that they're putting in there, and that it's having, in many cases, irreversible damage to the lungs. This vitamin E acetate that's in so many of the liquids is sort of compared to like a grease that when you vaporize it, it sort of coats the inside of your lungs and you can't get rid of it.
Does it smell, Lori? Does it, because I've seen these big plumes of smoke that might just, completely surround people.
It smells delicious. And that's part of the problem with the kids. See, that's berry flavored. And not only does it smell great, it tastes great too, because they put the flavoring in here. So they have this wonderful flavoring. And I tried it earlier today, and it did taste good. And this is why the kids love it so much.
But there is nicotine in here.
A little bit. There's like 0.3% nicotine. You can buy 0.6% nicotine also. So there's a little nicotine. And as you saw, some people are putting liquid THC, which is the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, in the liquid. And you can pretty much put any kind of liquid you want in these things because you saw how it's filled up.
All right, parents, if you're watching, please tell your kids no more vaping. Of course, they can, hide that from your parents, but if with the dangers, with people dying, sometimes that will scare kids, I think, All right, Lori, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, up next, how one mental health clinic is hoping to help veterans and their families for little or no cost.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com. Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel. Now available at cbnradio.com.
I am Regent's first ROTC graduate student.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
A 2016 government study found that 20 military veterans kill themselves every day. One Veterans Network is trying to stop that disturbing trend with mental health clinics serving post-9/11 veterans and their families for little or no cost. Mark Martin takes us inside one of those clinics.
This is our child care room, and this is for individuals who are being seen for treatment and have children, but they don't have babysitters for them.
Clinic Director Dr. Iman Williams-Christians says providing child care is just one way the new Cohen Military Family Clinic at the Up Center helps veterans and their families get the treatment they need. The Cohen Veterans Network is known for delivering holistic, evidence-based care.
They absolutely work. We've seen tremendous improvement, whether it is improvement in their PTSD symptoms or their depression or anxiety. We actually track that, and so we're able to confidently say that it works.
This clinic provides comprehensive mental health services and is here for the more than 200,000 post-9/11 veterans and military families here in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area alone.
So it's very special to be able to provide a holistic approach to the care. We know that a veteran doesn't serve alone, and we know that families are impacted by military service. Regardless of deployment or not, it's a different lifestyle and it requires a different understanding and a different approach, and that's what our clinics provide.
The stigma around mental health today is just absolutely unacceptable. It's 2019. We've been battling this stigma since we first started these wars in 2001, 2002. And here we are today still fighting that same battle. Enough is enough. We need to treat the invisible wounds of war the same as we do the physical ones.
At this grand opening, Medal of Honor recipient and Cohen Veterans Network Ambassador Sergeant Kyle White talked about the help he received.
Although I was awarded the Medal of Honor, really my story is no different than, hundreds of thousands of others that served before me and continue to serve. I just had a unique experience on one day. But really, it's what happened, pretty much afterward is why I'm here. I realized that I needed to get some help for post-traumatic stress, and I made the decision very early on while still on active duty to, get treatment, get back to better.
2 U.S. representatives from Virginia who are both veterans also acknowledged the great need for facilities like these.
I was injured in Iraq, but mentally, I think the biggest thing for me was grief and loss. I've unfortunately lost a lot of friends in these wars. I was able to lean, however, on other friends to be able to get through those tough times in family. So some people aren't so lucky. So I'm very happy that we have this now in this facility here.
Their core mission is really to be there for the families when the families need them, and they even provide emergency same-day service. So I think that's the most important thing to get out to people in our community is that they're here as a resource. It's conveniently located, centrally located.
CBN reports that its clinics have helped thousands of veterans and their families heal from wounds that often go unseen and untreated. Mark Martin, CBN News, Virginia Beach.
After the break, what amazing discovery archaeologists in Israel have revealed and why it's so special.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
And finally, archaeologists in Israel say they may have discovered the true location of Emmaus. The biblical town is where Jesus first appeared to two of his followers after being crucified and resurrected. A Franco-Israeli team has been excavating a hill overlooking Jerusalem known as Kiryat Yearim since 2017. Tel Aviv University archaeologists told Haaretz that the importance of this site, its dominant position over Jerusalem, was felt again and again through time. In the 8th century BCE, and then again in the Hellenistic period, and then again after the first Jewish revolt and the sack of Jerusalem in 70 CE. They will publish a paper about their findings next month in the journal New Studies in the Archaeology of Jerusalem and its region, and will also present them at a conference in Jerusalem. Very interesting. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on CBN News anytime or online with CBNNews.com. Also, tell us what you think about today's stories by emailing us at newswatch@cbn.com. We hope you'll join us again next time. Until then, from all of us here, have a great day and God bless you.